Good day guys, today I'm very happy and excited to share with you my new guided knife sharpener. If you've been subscribed to me for a while, you will know that in August of 2017 I made a video of this homemade guided knife sharpener that I built myself. And let me tell you, in 7 months I have now over 600,000 views. And a lot of people told me that they were going to build it themselves. They were very excited about it. And this is a good system. I'm really happy. I sharpened many knives with it. It works really good. And if you haven't seen this video, I will have a clickable link at the end of the video so that you can see my video how I made this guided knife sharpener. So this is how it works here. Anyways, there's also a lot of people, they left comment and they would have liked to buy this guided sharpener off of me. And then I've replied to some of them and I said, you know, give me 6 months maybe I'll make 50 of them and I will sell them, because there must be at least 100 people that, you know, they're almost, some of them were almost begging me for me to sell them this unit here. But then I started thinking about it, the amount of hours that it takes to build this, and then, you know, I got to take care of the shipping, and I thought about it, and there's no way I could sell that at a reasonable price. And plus, you know, it's made out of wood, so it probably wouldn't last a lifetime. So then today I want to review the Wicked Edge guided knife sharpener. And I think it's the best, and I will explain to you later why I think it's the best. So what I did is I sent an email to Wicked Edge, and I said I really like their guided knife sharpener. I've had an eye on it for at least 4 years. And I said, could you send me a free guided knife sharpener so I can review, and I will review it for you. And they replied to me within 3 or 4 days, and they said, sure, we watch your video, we were impressed, and we'd love to send you one for you to review it for us. So thank you, Wicked Edge. This is that's a really nice present. They have many models, and you know, it starts at $200 and goes all the way up to $1,200 US. This model here is the Field and Sport Pro package, and it sells for $649 US. And it's pretty fancy. I know some of you might have a budget, you can't afford that much, but like I said, they do have a package of $200 US. Their clamping mechanism is not as fast. This is like really fast, right? There, it's clamped, it's not moving anywhere. The cheaper model, you have a couple set screw and you have an Allen key, so it takes a little bit longer, but you know, you'll still get like a perfect edge on it, right? And also with this package here, here's the stones it came with. Okay, so for the course I got the diamond stone, I got 100 on one side and 200 grit. And then after I got the 400 grit and 600 grit. And I got the 800 grit and 1000 grit. Now on the model that costs $200, you're only getting one set. So one side is going to be 200 grit and the other side is going to be 600 grit. But you can upgrade. You can buy these with a leather strap. You can buy them with a blank glass, so you can, you know, buy your own sandpaper, peel and stick sandpaper, whatever you want, and you just stick the grit that you want on there. Also, if you want to do a knife that's like 20 inches long, you can buy the longer bars here, so you can do it. There's many upgrades. So, but like I said, for $200, you would get something, in my opinion, that's better than this. It's perfectly made, machined aluminum, like it's smooth. You saw the close-up at the beginning of the video. It's super precise, high quality. This should last a lifetime. And like I said, later on, If you're not happy with the way your knife cut at 600 grit, you can upgrade by this, so you can go to 800 grit and 1000 grit. Myself, I'm a perfectionist, so I like a knife with a really mirror-like polished edge, especially when you use like a hunting knife like this or a pocket knife. You know, you can show off to your friends like a super polished edge, and you can get it so sharp that you can whittle some human hair if you want. So because of that, I will buy these. They sell on one side it's 1500 grit diamond, and on the other side it's glass. So on the glass side I will use a 9 micron sandpaper, peel and stick sandpaper, so I will just stick it to the glass edge. And then I will buy an additional set of blank, so it's got glass on both sides. So like I said, on one side I'm gonna have 9 micron, and on my other set on one side I will have 5 micron, and on the other side I'll have 3 micron. And that will give me like a mirror's edge and a razor sharp knife. That's all you need. For some people, if you like ceramic, you can buy them. On one side it's got 1200 grit, the other side's got 1600 grit. And then you could buy the other one, this super fine ceramic. It's 1.4 micron on one side, and it's 0.6 micron on the other side. You can buy this with leather. Did I say leather? Leather. I'm French, sorry. So you got leather on each side, and they will sell you some spray diamond or some paste you can rub in the leather. You can get 10 micron, you can get 0.5 micron if you want to whittle some hair or something. But like I said, I like sandpaper. That works for me, and I will go right down to 3 micron. So that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so here's how this clamp works here. You got like a pin here, and you got 2 set of holes. Because this knife is nice and deep, I'm going to put that pin at the bottom. This is not really necessary, but it will just give you more of a consistent angle the next time you want to sharpen your knife again. Okay, earlier I said that I would tell you why I think this guided knife sharpener is superior to all of the other guided knife sharpener that I could find on the internet. This is because the other knife sharpeners on the internet, they're all basically made like this one here. Some of them are a little bit fancier, alright? Some of them have like a clamp like this here, alright? So you sharpen your knife, so you'll do whatever, 20 stroke or so, and then you can flip it, and it locks at 180 degree, and then you can keep on sharpening it, which is easier than this setup here, because you got a magnet, and sometimes your knife can slide around and your angle can change a little bit. It's really not a big deal because your angle doesn't change that much, but nevertheless, if you got something that clamps it here, then it stays absolutely consistent. So which would be a better setup than this here. There's other setup, but there's not even a magnet here, so you just gotta hold your knife here and make sure it doesn't move, and that doesn't seem to work good, but I didn't buy it. So yeah, so like I said, all of the other sharpeners you gotta flip your knife around once in a while. And the reason I like this one here is because you sharpen one side 1 stroke, the other side 1 stroke, the other side 1 stroke, and so on. So why is this better? Because this way here, you will give it about 20 strokes. Then you will get a burr, alright? So let's say you start at 200 grit. So you get a burr, and you do it at the other side, and you give 20 stroke. Then the burr will curl. There's like going to be a metal edge. It will curl on the other side. Then you change your grit. You're going to go 400 grit, right? You flip your knife around, right? You sharpen it with a 400 grit, you're gonna have your burr it's gonna bend it on the other side, right? Flip it around, do 400 grit, flip it around, 600, 800 grit, and so on, whatever. If you want to go up to 8,000 grit, that's up to you. By the time you're up high in the grits, 1,500 grits, your burr will become smaller, but it's always gonna be there, okay? So when you are done sharpening, then you have to strop it. No, I don't have my strop with me. Okay, where was I? I found my strop anyways. So as I was saying, with this type of guided knife sharpener, even when you're done your fine grit, whatever, if it's 1,500 or 3,000 grit, whatever it is, you will still have a very fine burr, a little fine steel edge, all right? So then what you have to do is take a strop, all right, and go back and forth, change sides every time. So what you're doing, you're curling the burr this side, then you change your knife the other side, you're bending the burr the other side, and so on and so forth. And so finally the burr breaks off, okay? And then you can keep going for a while. You don't know when it's breaking off because you can't see it, but you have your, I rubbed some chromium oxide compound. It's a green compound. Remember this, chromium oxide? You can find this on eBay or anywhere on the internet, really. So it has got some very, very fine abrasives. So it will also sharpen your knife. I don't know, maybe it's like 1 micron, I'm not sure. But the main purpose of the leather strop is to fold that edge back and forth and finally break it off, and then you will see your knife will be much sharper. Now here's why I like the wicked edge, is because I'm folding the burr, right? The burr's folding this way. Now I'm taking this one, folding it the other side, right? And I started doing that in the coarse grit. Let's say I started with 100 grit. I've been doing that all along. So this burr's been broken a long time ago. Every time I go, I change side. Every stroke I change side. That burr's broken off. So I'm done here with 1,000 grit. All right, and I'm not even gonna strop it, and I bet you I can cut paper with it. All right, so here's a piece of paper. See, no stropping. Now imagine if I would go right down to 3 micron. Definitely no use to strop. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, if you're on a budget, you can buy this cheaper system here for $200, but all you get is 1 set of these, okay? And like I said, on one side it's 200 grit, and on the other side it's 600 grit. And you may be wondering, okay, so it only goes up to 600, that's all I can afford for now. When a knife is finished at 600 grit, will I be happy with the way it cuts? Is it gonna cut pretty good or what? Well, let's find out. I purposely dulled this knife here because I couldn't find a really dull knife in my house, right? So, oh yeah, that's not supposed to cut. Okay, there we go. I don't think that cut, I think it just ripped it. Here, I'll make sure it's dull. All right. So let's sharpen this together. Okay, so yeah, it's just ripping, so it's not cutting. Okay, I'm not gonna bother putting the pin there. I'm just gonna set it up like that. That should be good enough. And right now it's set at 15 degrees because my Japanese knife there, it's meant to be sharpened at 15 degrees. We're gonna sharpen this at 20, so I'm just gonna change the angle here to 20 degrees. There we go. It's 20 degrees. I'll do 20 degrees on the other side. 20 degrees. Okay, so we pretend we got the cheap system and all we have is 200 grit and 600. So let's start at 200 grit. Now when a knife is dull like that, let's say it's not my knife, it's a friend's knife, it's really dull, I like to just sharpen one side until I can fill a burr. I don't fill a burr yet. When I fill a burr, then I can stop. Okay, I can fill a burr all along the edge. I'm just going to wipe off the metal shavings here. Alright, so now we're going to do the same on this side till I fill a burr on this side here, on the opposite side. Okay, now I fill a burr all along on the opposite side. So now let's break off that burr. Yeah, that burr's broken off. I can't even feel the burr anymore. This is why I like this system here. Alright, we're going to pretend we got the cheap wicked edge sharpener, the basic model. So we're going to take off the 200 grit, and all we have on the other model would be, the next step would be, and the final step would be the 600 grit. And we are going to see if I can cut paper after that. Alright, so now, like I said, I created a burr at first, so now we know that we're right down to the apex, so now I could just go sharpen it just like this. Okay, now I'm just going to do very light pass, just to get the edge a little bit sharper. Okay. Just a beautiful, perfect edge. All right, let's take it fresh piece of paper here. Let's see if it will cut paper. Yeah, it did not rip. It actually cut, but it could barely. Yeah, this is a cut here. So for 95% of the population, I would estimate, this is perfectly acceptable for cutting food, for cutting potatoes, tomatoes, celery. I mean, if it can cut paper, most people will be happy with that. I'm not happy with that, but that's just because I'm a perfectionist. So anyways, we went down to 600 grit, so let's finish it off now. Okay, I just found my sharpening stone, so I got 800 grit and 1000 grit. Alright, so we did 600, we're going to jump to 800 grit. It's a bit better. Oh yeah, it's better. Yeah, I can feel that there is a difference between the 600 grit. But see, this knife, it's already getting dull. Either that or the piece of paper is getting stuck, because this knife is their normal quality. It's not like a super expensive knife, so paper's got abrasive, so it does dull the knife, unless you have a knife like this, which costs about $300 US, and you just saw me sharpen it with the same 1000 grit, right? But that's just the steel that's better, so you can cut paper time after time, and the steel is so hard that you know, it will not dull the knife anytime soon. But like I said before, to most people, you can stop at 600 grit and most people are going to be perfectly happy. The knife will cut vegetables, no problem. You can also always get a strop like this, right? You can get your white rubbing compound, and it does have grit, so it will help to sharpen it. Most of the burrs, if not all, has been removed by this because I kept going back and forth. But if there is a little bit burr remaining, this will remove it, but also the grit will sharpen it. Now we're going to go to the fine grit, the chromium oxide. Usually I would only use the chromium oxide grit, but also usually I will sharpen my knives right down to 5 micron sanding paper. And then I will just do a very light pass on the strop. Let's see if there's a difference. I'm willing to bet the first cut's going to do pretty good. Yeah, the second cut. See, it's already getting dull. Yeah, it's already getting dull. Okay, I already know that some people will leave comments such as, "You're not a real man because you can't sharpen your knife freehand. If you're a real man, you would, buy a Waterstone and sharpen it freehand." Well, I've been obsessed with sharpening knives for 4 years now, and I do sharpen freehand on a regular basis. These are Waterstone. They're Japanese Waterstone. You have to soak them 15 minutes or so underwater before you can use it. I got 200 grit here, 800 grit, and 8000 grit. I got diamond stone. One side is 220 grit. Yeah, this size is 220 grit. This is 325 grit. Then I got 600 grit and 1200 grit. And these are ceramic stones. That's medium and that's extra fine ceramic. I don't know how many grits they are. Haven't used these in a long time. I don't like them. They get dirty. The pores clog up with steel particle, and then you got to use like Old Dutch to clean them. I don't find they really do a good job. I don't know. Ceramic's not for me. I've tried them before. Maybe now that I'm more experienced, maybe I could try again. But anyways. I will not use these Waterstone anymore now that I have the Wicked Edge guided knife sharpener. Sometimes my wife will be rough on the knife and I try to cut a tomato and it doesn't cut well. Then I gotta put this on the water and wait 15 minutes. I could just take out my Wicked Edge and do it faster because I don't have to wait for the soaking time. The problem with freehand sharpening is that most people are busy. They have a full-time job, they have a couple kids at home, and they don't have time to learn it. It took me a long time to get good at this, and that's time most people don't have. With a guided knife sharpener, anybody can spend a little bit of time and be a pro at it. Now, I've had a lot of practice over the years sharpening freehand, and I can sharpen the kitchen knife, and when I'm done with the 8000 grit, it will be just as sharp as a razor's edge. But I will only use these to sharpen my chisels now. I love to start with the diamond stones to start sharpening my chisels, and then after I'm done with the 1200 grit, I'll use this one here, the 800 grit, and then the 8000 grit. And you're going to be wondering why such a jump. It's because Waterstone cuts your steel really fast. That's the nice thing about it. Okay guys, thanks for watching this video, and my recommendation, if you're a busy guy and you don't have time to learn freehand sharpening, buy the Wicked Edge guided knife sharpener. I'm sure you won't regret it and your wife will love you for it. Thanks for watching.